Everybody told me the same thing growing up. Save your money, keep it safe, don't be reckless. So I did, and it was the most expensive mistake of my 20s because while my money sat in a safe savings account, it wasn't safe at all. It was quietly shrinking. The one habit I wish someone had forced me to start at 20 is investing. Starting that early, I wouldn't need a large amount of money, just $100 a month. And by the end of this, I'll show you the exact number that $100 turns into, and the $200,000 reason why waiting even 10 years costs you way more than you think. Quick honest note first. I'm not your financial advisor, and this isn't advice. It's the breakdown I wish I'd had. Deal? Okay. Let's get into it. Here's what nobody explained to me. Money sitting in a normal savings account earns well under 1% a year. The national average is around 0.5%. That feels safe, but prices go up around 2 to 3% every single year. So do the math with me. Your money grows at basically nothing while the cost of everything climbs. That means $1,000 you keep safe today buys only about $740 worth of life in 10 years. Same number in the account, a quarter of its power, gone. Think of it like an ice cube you're proud of keeping in your pocket. You check on it, it's still there, you feel responsible. But it's melting the whole time. And one day you reach in and half of it is gone. That's not safety, that's a slow leak you agreed to. Saving protects the number in your account, but it does nothing to protect what that number can actually do. And that gap between the number and the power is where the trap lives. So if saving leaks, what's the opposite? It's a snowball. And it starts smaller than you'd believe. When you invest, your money earns a return. And then next year, that return earns its own return. Money making money while you sleep. Historically, the US stock market has averaged about 10% a year, around 7% after inflation, not every year. Some years it drops hard, but over decades, that's the trend. Watch what that does. Put in $1,000 and never add another cent. At 10%, year one earns you $100. Nice. Not life-changing. But year two earns 10% on 1,100, not 1,000. So the interest starts earning its own interest. Leave it 20 years. And that $1,000 quietly becomes about 6,700. You did nothing. The snowball did all of it. Now here's the part that surprised me most. The first $100 barely moves. You'll invest it, check the app the next morning, and nothing. It looks identical. But something did change, and it isn't the money. It's you. The day you send that first 100, you stop being someone who's going to invest someday, and you become someone who invests. That sounds small. It's the entire game, because the person who starts with 100 is the same person who's still investing at 40. And that person ends up somewhere completely different. Okay, but invest in what? This is where most beginners freeze and where I almost quit before I started. You could try to pick the one winning company, but here's the problem. In 2008, one BlackBerry share cost about $144, and everyone was sure it was the future. Today, that same share is worth about $4. Not 400, 4. The obvious winner can quietly become the loser, and you almost never see it coming. So most long-term investors don't try to pick the needle. They buy the whole haystack. There's a type of fund, an index fund, that holds a tiny slice of the 500 biggest US companies at once. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. You own a piece of all of them in a single purchase. And here's the part that should end the debate. Over the last 15 years, nearly 9 out of 10 professional fund managers, people paid millions to pick winners, still failed to beat that simple index. Warren Buffett has said it plainly. Most people are better off just buying a low-cost index fund. I'm not telling you to buy any specific fund. That's your call, and it's worth researching. I'm telling you why the math favors owning everything instead of betting on one thing. If any single company sinks, the other 499 keep the ship moving. There's one more quiet edge here, and it's about fees. These simple index funds often charge almost nothing, a few pennies per $100 a year. The funds a salesperson pushes can charge a full % or more. That sounds tiny, right? Think about it this way. You know exactly what you pay for a haircut or an oil change, but most people paying a financial advisor have no idea what it costs them. And a single % dragged across 30 years of compounding can quietly eat a 6-figure hole in your final number. Boring and nearly free beats exciting and expensive almost every time. So let's finally answer the question I promised. What does a boring $100 a month actually become? Watch this. Year one, you put in $1,200 and it's worth about $1,260. Barely anything. This is the part that makes people quit. Don't. Year 10, you've contributed $12,000, but the balance reads around $21,000. The market is now doing almost half the work, and somewhere around year 12, something magical happens. The crossover. Your investments start earning more each year than you put in. The snowball is rolling itself now. Keep that 100 going for 40 years at that historical 8%, and it grows to about $349,000. At 10%, it's north of $600,000. You contributed $48,000 of your own money. The other $300,000, you never earned it at a job. Time earned it. Because time is the one investor that never misses a month, never panics, and never sells at the bottom. Which brings me to the regret in the title, and the real reason I made this video. Because that number has a twin, and it's brutal. Watch what 10 years costs. Start that same 100 a month at 20, and by 60, you've got about $349,000. Start the exact same habit at 30, same 100, same market, and by 60, you land around $149,000. Same effort, same monthly amount. The only difference is 10 years, and that difference is $200,000. I still remember the exact night it hit me. I was 29, sitting on the edge of my bed, phone glowing, staring at a savings balance I'd been so proud of, and it clicked that if I'd started that boring 100 at 20 instead of just guarding this pile, the number in front of me would have had a completely different shape. My stomach dropped, not because I'd lost money, but because I finally saw the money that was never going to show up. That's the thing about this mistake. It doesn't hurt today. It just quietly steals from a version of you that you'll never get to meet. That's what my 20s of playing it safe actually cost me. Not in money I lost, but in the snowball I never let start rolling. Nobody hands you a bill for that. It just quietly doesn't show up decades later. And that's exactly why waiting feels free. And never is. Here's the proof at the extreme. Warren Buffett, maybe the greatest investor alive, built 99% of his fortune after he turned 50. His edge was never picking the perfect stock. It was starting young and refusing to interrupt the compounding for 70 straight years. His secret is ingenious. It's time. And that's the one advantage you have right now that he can never get back. But before you ever get there, something happens that makes most people quit. So let me walk you through it now, so it doesn't get you. Picture it. You've been doing this a few months. You've put in $600, 100 at a time, and you're proud of it. Then one morning you open the app and it says 540. Your money didn't just stop growing. It went backwards. And I want you to notice the feeling that gives you right now, that little drop in your chest. Because that feeling is the entire test. Your brain screams one word: sell. Get out before it gets worse. It feels responsible. You're protecting what's left. But here's what's actually happening. The market just went on sale. Your next automatic 100 is about to buy more shares than last month at a lower price. The person who panics and sells that morning locks in the loss, for real. The person who does nothing, who lets the 100 keep buying, quietly ends up owning more of the recovery when it comes. Same drop, opposite ending. The difference isn't brains. It's whether you can sit on your hands while your gut is screaming. Learn to do nothing in that one moment, and you've already beaten most investors. So if the math is this good, why do most people still fail at it? Here's the twist. The biggest threat to your money isn't the market, it's you. The day the market drops, because it will drop 10, 20, 30%, it happens, and your gut will scream. Sell, protect yourself. That instinct feels responsible, but it's the exact move that breaks the whole machine. Here's the exact math. $10,000 left alone in the market from 2005 to 2024 grew to about $71,000. But if you got scared and missed just the 10 best days in those 20 years, you ended with $32,000, less than half. And here's the cruel twist. 7 of those 10 best days happened within 2 weeks of the worst days. The rebound hides right next to the crash. So the people who panic sell to feel safe almost always sell the bottom and miss the bounce, then buy back higher. They don't lose to Wall Street, they lose to their own fear. So the whole skill, the entire thing, is boring on purpose. When the red days come, you do nothing. You keep sending your 100 because those cheaper months are when your 100 buys the most. There's one more excuse, the one that kept me on the sidelines the longest. I'll start when the market dips. Right now it's too high, it's near a record high. I'll wait for a market crash. It sounds smart. It's the most expensive kind of smart there is. Two facts break it. First, record highs aren't rare or dangerous. Since 1960, the market has closed at a fresh all-time high on roughly 1 out of every 14 trading days. Record highs are just what a healthy market does on the way up. Second, and this one stopped me cold based on stats every day since 1960, buying on a record high day gave you virtually the same returns 1, 3, and 5 years later as buying on any random day. Buying at the top, no, didn't punish you. And after a record high, it takes on average about 140 trading days for even a small 5% dip to show up. So while you sit in cash, waiting for a sale that might never come, your money isn't compounding. And remember chapter 1, inflation is still quietly eating it. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The starting line, it is wherever you happen to be standing today. And if 100 a month still sounds like a lot, reframe it. That's about $5 a day. One coffee started at 25, roughly $5 a day can grow into 6 figures. The barrier was never the money. It's getting the money to start working at all. But where those dollars go, in what order, changes everything. So here's the ladder. Smart investors climb one rung at a time. Rung 1. If your job matches contributions to a retirement account, put in enough to get the full match first. That's an instant 100% return. Literally free money. Nothing else beats it. Rung 2. Kill any high interest debt. A credit card charging 20-something% is a guaranteed loss no index fund can out earn. So clearing it is an investment. Rung 3. A Roth IRA. You invest money you've already paid tax on, and it grows completely tax-free. You owe nothing when you pull it out in retirement. In 2026, you can put in up to $7,500 a year. Most beginners don't max that. You don't need to. You just need to start the rung. So here's the 15-minute version. The thing I wish someone had just handed me. Open one account with a low-cost broker. Set one automatic transfer. $100 same day every month into a broad index fund. Then close the app. That's the habit. Not timing, not stock picking, not watching the news. One automatic 100. On repeat for a very long time. The automation is the whole trick. It removes the one unreliable part of the system, you, and one tiny lever that quietly does the heavy lifting. Every December, bump that amount up by just 1%. You won't feel it, but nudging it up over the years instead of staying flat can mean hundreds of thousands more by retirement. You can't get your 20s back. I can't either. But the second best time to start this habit is the next 10 minutes. And the very next question is which account? Because picking the wrong one can quietly cost you thousands in taxes and fees. That's exactly what I break down next. I'll see you in that one.